자, 우리 멘트 한번 해. 빨리 끝내고 맛난 거 먹으러 갑시다. 그렇지 이렇게. 그러니까 자, 이제 카메라 저기 있어. 상민 씨 거기 말고 자 이게 카메라. 거기 여기 있어. 저기 말고 저기. 여기 있어요. 네. 자, 상민 갑니다. 자.
Welcome, everyone. Back to another welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Patricia. Hello there again. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome everyone to Real Talk with Patricia. And today we're gonna go to a very spicy topic. And as you can see from the description, is it best to wait, hate, or have faith for a marriage relationship? And guys, when we're talking marriage, we're talking about a one man, one woman relationship. We're talking about the normal relationship between one man and one woman. We're talking about a commitment, a committed relationship where you have that covenant where both parties come together to help each other in time of joy, in time of adversity. We're looking at that marriage to build a family. So we're looking at is it best to wait, to hate, or have faith in a marriage relationship? So welcome, Brianna. We have today, Brianna is on, and we have Tashi is here with us. Are you hearing me, Tashi?
Yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
am
you're
hearing you.
there. Okay, great. Nice. So again, we're looking at the topic. Is it best to wait, hate, or have faith in marriage? And when we talk about, well, wait is pretty straightforward, meaning you're just waiting, you know, to before you get married, like, you know, to choose the right person. Hate is basically, is it that you're in a relationship already and you don't want to talk about the topic at all? You just wish to remain where you are in that relationship, whether you refer to that as a common law relationship or whether you call it a lifelong partner. So many different names that they have now to relationship where persons are in it, but they decide not to get married. Or is it you're gonna stick around and just have faith for that right person to come along?
Yeah.
You know, as the Bible would say, you know, just to have faith and God will provide you that husband or that wife. So we want to look at the different perspective where what persons are thinking, you know, what's your thought, what's your take on these three, you know, areas, whether or not you want to wait, hate, or have faith for a marriage relationship. And again, guys, we just want to reiterate that when we talk about marriage, we're talking about a one man, one woman normal relationship as God has ordained it to be, where you have a one man, one woman. That's the one that we're dealing with today. We know there are multiple different things out there, but this is the one that we are referencing right now.
Yeah.
So before I start, I just want to look at what is a marriage in terms of, just a kind of brief overview of my understanding what a marriage supposed to be. My understanding of what a marriage supposed to be is basically two persons coming together to build a family in a committed relationship, meaning you're committing, it's a covenant between you and God in having this marriage. That means you're going to forsake any other man. As a woman, you're forsaking any other man. And as a man, you're forsaking any other woman, right? And you're going through this for the rest of your life until death do you part. That's the definition I will be working with for now. If anyone has any other definition, they can feel free to put that in there. I also, before I start, I want to look at the biblical perspective. That is where the origin of husband and wife came about. So we want to reference this, and I'm just going to go straight into the Bible. And I'm using the King James version of the Bible, where it's all started. So I'm just gonna take it from the beginning there to see what God wanted for us. And I'm reading Genesis 2, and it's verse 21, and it goes to verse 25. And it says, "And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed." So that's the end of that verse. So I'm looking from that perspective. That's where the wife and husband basically started.
Yes.
Now we want to hear the different perspective now as to the biblical perspective, and now we're looking at societal perspective, where there is now a legal um framework of what a marriage is, where they will have a ceremony, they will have a legal document, you will sign the document, and you will have a ring and all these kind of ceremony for this marriage. And then there is a legal agreement between the man and the woman to in the presence of God as well for this marriage. So this is where we're taking the marriage from the biblical perspective, from the societal perspective, and now we're looking at what do we do as it relates to that aspect of life. All right, so today we're gonna start out to hear Brianna's version, how she feel about the topic. You can just tell us what you feel about the topic. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go through that preambles like me, but just to hear
Um,
your version, what you think about the topic.
um, well, considering I have lack of experience in affairs of the heart, I guess. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I don't think I really think too much on marriage because I haven't even taken the first step to get there. So, and at
Yeah.
this point,
But if
I
you
guess
were
But
to
why,
take
right?
that
Why
step,
haven't you taken the
yeah.
first step?
at this point, I guess I am waiting because um just in my opinion, the men
Right.
that are out there are not doing it for me, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not meeting the needs that I personally
Right.
have. So it's not that I I'm going to say, oh, all men are this and all men are that, and just hate the idea of having a relationship. Nor am I going to just jump in any relationship to say, oh, just to say that I'm in a relationship for
But what do you
not
think
being
other people
single.
should do? What do you think should be?
Well, I cannot talk for everybody. I can only talk for myself. So personally, I
Yeah,
think
of course.
for me, it is better for me to wait to see if there is anything out there. Because it's not that I feel that if I it's not that I feel lonely in a way that if I were to never have someone, it would really weigh down on my spirit.
Yeah.
So if it is that I wait and something good comes to me, then that's good. But if I wait and there's nothing, that's okay too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
because I think
Good.
I'm at a
So do you
point
think
in myself
you
that I'm okay
question for you,
being by
Brianna, before I
myself.
get to someone else?
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't get that part, Brianna. What did you say? The last part of what you said?
Oh, I was saying that I right now as a person, I'm comfortable being with myself. So I don't have any like yearning to be with someone. If it so happens, then yeah, that's nice. But if it doesn't happen, then that's okay too.
Of course. Absolutely. So Tashi, do you have any
I heard
take?
you mention
What's your
before.
opinion about the topic?
Okay, well, I am when you divide 3 into 100, that 33.333333% in all categories. 33.33333 in the faith, 33.333 in the hate, and 33.333 in
Oh yeah.
the weight. So let me
It's
delve in. All right, so the weight, which straightforward. You wait on the right person, or
yeah.
if you're in a common law,
Yeah.
you wait until you guys decide.
Okay.
But how long you're gonna wait for? If that is something for you. So say for example, you're in a common law relationship. That in a lot of people's head it's like a marriage already. It's just that it's without paperwork and ceremony and rings. Now, I think society has weighed the common law relationship and marriage as the same weight. So if marriage weigh 100 pound, common law will weigh 100 pound, and you can see it in our rules and laws and stuff like that. Because if a person, I'm not quoting any rules or law, but if a person live at least maybe 2 years together, if anything, say for example, if they have any form of assets or so, I think I'm not, I'm not a member of parliament or so, but I think it should be split with them because of the common law, especially if if they have kids together, stuff like that. So it's still coming just like how a marriage would be, where if you're going to get a divorce and you split everything 50-50 and way. And you have some people who are comfortable in a common law relationship. So say for example now you have a man and a woman in a common law relationship. So a woman agreed to go, I'm going to just use a very a slang word, shack up with a man, and everybody seems okay, everybody seems happy, they're reaching for the goals, the aspiration, they're reaching for the sky, they're working together. And then sometime in a female head is like, okay, I'm waiting on him to propose to me, or to have that big discussion about the big M. and it's not money, marriage. So now she's
Yeah.
waiting, and the man is like, he's feeling comfortable with what he's in. Nobody's upset, nobody's angry, everybody's happy. Why should a piece of paper determine why, you know, they now they're gonna say, why should we make society change up or our way of living if we're all comfortable with it? Now you have some female where they would agree,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have some female like, no, but I want to be married and XYZ. Now, is it fair to the man to say, but we have been living together for 5 years happily. We're getting everything together. So what makes it different in the in marriage? That is where the waiting process now with the female. So you're already playing wife. You're already playing wife. He's already playing
Right.
husband. So what different it make with a piece of paper?
Yeah.
So
So basically the man is saying stick with
yeah, stick with
that
the play marriage.
situation because it doesn't make a big
Yes,
difference.
stick with the play marriage because we are happy in this. We have our assets and our hi Misa. We
Hi.
have our asset.
So wouldn't that be
Yeah, Misa
technically
join us now.
wouldn't that be faith in the relationship rather than wait?
No, but she's having faith
But
in
she also is having faith to say if she holds out long enough, maybe he will come to her with marriage. Because she's no longer
Propose.
waiting for the man to come because the man is already there. No, she's holding out with faith.
well the thing is with me, I think because you have a flip side for both wait and faith. That could definitely be faith, I agree. But it can also be wait as well. The
Yeah.
faith for me, with my faith aspect, would be where I meet this guy
Mm-hmm.
less than a year. We don't really know each other, but we love each other. And he
Mm-hmm.
come to me and say he want to marry me. And then I say, you know what? I just gonna marry him and just have faith, say this marriage will work. That is the faith in my head, where the faith concern. But you are correct. That can also mean she's having faith that one day the man will decide, like, you know
Day
what?
he will propose.
He will propose. Yeah.
Because
But
usually when you think about wait, it's more like you're waiting for the right person to come around or something like that, right? That's like,
and you can wait till the person propose to you
In
as well.
faith.
yeah.
Yeah, because say for example, you find the right person to you that you think is the right
Mhm.
person. So you're just waiting now on this person to be like, okay, I'm not going to, because to me, is the man supposed to propose,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm just waiting on him because we are setting we are learning each other while acting like we're married.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm just waiting for it to be official.
Mm-hmm.
That is how my wait. When I talk about wait, yeah, that is all. Just like how you don't have some people in a
So
relationship.
should I ask you this? Is it yeah. So would you consider, Tashana, a common law relationship is that in a waiting zone? Would you see that as a waiting zone? Depending on the persons too, because say for example, as you mentioned, the man might not want to disturb his common law relationship. He's okay with that. But the
Yes,
woman, she wants to get the marriage going.
yes.
So
I
who
think
is
that is a
waiting here? That
waiting.
would be the woman.
Yeah, the
She's
woman is
in, yeah,
waiting.
maybe waiting bliss. That is a waiting thing.
Yes, the
Okay.
woman is waiting,
Yeah,
and
because we want to see where.
yeah, because the woman might be waiting, and the
Okay, go
man
ahead,
might
Tash.
be waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys
So
hearing
you
me?
can be
Yeah.
in a relationship where you have a waiting and a hating
Yeah, yeah. So
going
if
on at
both
the
of you
same
guys
time.
don't have the same
Right.
level, then there's going to be chaos. Because, say for example, she never,
So
maybe she didn't.
basically, what you're saying is that what
I don't know. I think this is
Go
the
ahead,
lane.
Tash. Are you
Yeah,
hearing me?
I think. Yeah, I'm
There's a
hearing you.
delay in
Something.
it. Yeah, it's delaying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's
if
delaying.
both
Like I feel like I'm interrupting you or something.
yeah.
You are.
I don't know what's going on then. I need to probably see if that can be fixed. I don't know what's.
What was the question since I missed the question?
Yeah, I don't like when it's delayed because.
So
So
the
the question.
question was, oh,
Okay,
go ahead,
so
Kashana.
the question is it? Hold on, let me speak with Shamisha. I don't. So could somebody help me out with this thing, please? Because come and help me out. I don't know if there
I
is
don't
something
think we
going
can
on with
work
the
on the
I think
delay right
internet
it's
now.
the
or
Wi-Fi.
what.
Just yeah,
Before we,
Maybe it's just the Wi-Fi.
it's okay. I don't know.
because usually it's not that bad.
Okay,
No, but
yeah, it
for
never
Tashana
does this
and
before.
Brianna, it's working fine.
No, exactly.
But
Right.
tell me the question, Tashana.
Mhm.
I know
Okay. So
that
the
it's doing
question is,
something though.
um, should we? Okay. Should we wait or hate or have faith when it comes onto a marriage relationship? So should we wait for marriage? You have two type of waiting for marriage. Either you're in a common law relationship and you're waiting to be official, or you're single and you're just waiting on the right person to come so you can married. Or should you hate marriage in terms of not really, like based off, you see statistics, divorce rate high, marriage not really go on, it's not cutting it in today's society. And that is one. Or you're in a common law relationship already and it's going perfect, so why married? Marriage does seem important right here because we are basically doing everything except for a piece of paper.
Right.
Or um so that was faith, hate, or no, faith now
Yes,
is
having faith.
Brianna.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, faith now would be you just leap into a marriage. You don't really know much about the person. So you're just having faith that you guys can work all together. Sometimes that could even be like arranged marriage. You have
Right.
back
Right.
in the other countries that does that.
Right.
Or as Brianna pointed out, like a woman or a man who is in a common law relationship, the woman or the man is having faith that one day the other partner will marry to
Right.
them. Basically. Yeah. So what do you think? Should we have faith, hate, or wait where marriage
Or like, what
relationship?
is your personal opinion on
Well,
that?
with our culture, there's no what do you call it? Set up marriage,
Arranged
arranged
marriage.
marriage, right? So definitely wait.
Arranged marriage.
Yes, definitely
Hmm.
wait. And before, I would say when I was much
Explain what
young,
is your weight. What's the
yeah,
weight?
when I was much younger, I would I would say before I get into a common law marriage, common law relationship, I would definitely want marriage first because you have to marry before sex and all. Even though a lot of people, you're having sex anyways, but to make it official, need to get married and stuff like that. But now I think to give it a try, I would go for waiting. You can also enter the relationship and see how the relationship is, living, because see and live with is a whole different thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can try it out for a bit, and if you say, okay, this could work, I like how we live together, it's working out well, and then you make the decision, okay, you know, we can take the next step of getting married. Because
Yeah.
out before you guys live together, you guys, a lot of people, they're already having
Yeah,
sex,
but what
right?
if Shamisha?
Right.
It's not here. Mhm. It's like because it's delayed, she not hearing me right away when I'm
No, she's
speaking.
here, yeah.
I'm hearing you now.
I wanted to ask, you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask now, what if you're in this relationship and you
Mm-hmm.
as a woman expecting the guy, you're in the relationship 5 years and you know you want to get married, but and you approach the man and he's saying no, he doesn't want to get married, you know, you don't feel
I think it froze.
I think it's happening in where she's at.
Yeah, like the spot.
Yeah,
say
because it's working for you fine and it's working for Tashana. Can the live be
I don't think she
paused?
hearing me though.
I'm hearing you now.
It froze.
Let's see if we can fix something. Yeah, we're trying to fix something. Yeah, second, guys.
Maybe check the Wi-Fi. Make sure you're on the right one.
Yeah, we're checking it. Hey, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm here.
Everybody hearing right away?
Yep.
Yeah.
You hear right away?
Are you
Yes.
hearing us right away?
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Yes, I'm hearing you guys. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's see if this will hold on now. Yes, so the question I was asking Shamisha, what if you're in a common law relationship and you're there for
Right.
5 years, for example, and your expectation is you want to get married, and then the guy's expectation is why should we get married? You don't see divorce rate. No, what's the point in us getting married? Even though to you, as Brian and Tashana was saying, the common law kind of is a legal relationship already in the view of the society, because whatever it is he's afraid of is the same way the society the law is going to apply the same thing as a common law relationship,
Oh,
meaning
I see.
if the
Yes.
relationship, whatever happened in a relationship, it can get end, you can the relationship, we don't know what can happen, and a relationship might go sour and you might end the relationship. The way in which the law will apply any punishment or any other law is
I
applied then to the
basically
common law and
take
to a
up the
marriage
question.
relations, it's typically the same thing.
Right.
It's typically the same thing. So I'm just saying, in that sense, how would
Why?
you feel, like when a guy, you're in a common law relationship and the guy is not ready to get married?
It all depends on the person and their
What
religious
would be your
belief.
take on that?
There is actually a Netflix show like that called The Ultimatum,
Oh yeah. I
where
think it has to do with,
Mm-hmm.
your religious belief. Are you okay with just being in a common law marriage, or because some of us we feel guilty because by um your faith or Christianity, you should get married, right?
But the thing is, Misa,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that be okay? Say for example, my Christian morals.
Yeah.
I would go in there in the first place.
Yeah,
So
but
once I go
sometimes you
in
get
there
caught up,
now,
Sometimes you get
yeah,
caught up.
sometimes I get caught up, but I think it's unfair for you're caught up that going to a common law relationship now, you're basically now forcing the man, because now
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna feel forced to say, okay, certain situation, let us be here. I am not ready. So why I have to go according to when your faith, your morals come back to you? No, that is time we should get married.
but the guy now should have known from day one, okay, she's a Christian person, right? This person
Mm-hmm.
is a Christian, or I'm a Christian. And
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later, she's going to want marriage because she want to continue with her religious beliefs, you know?
That is a thing I think we get very
So
confused about.
my question is now, my question now, guys. I think we're having some technical glitches here with the internet here still, but I hope you guys hearing me. But my question is, when we are entering into a relationship, whether the man, woman, you should be thinking about. I think we should go into a relationship with our main intent from the get go.
To get married.
So that means you should,
Mm-hmm.
if you know you want to get married, you shouldn't be entering. Yes, you shouldn't be entering into a shack up relationship
Exactly.
then,
No, you shouldn't, because once you
right? If you
enter it
know you, I
now,
think people need to be more open. Yes,
Because as you guys are saying, if you enter into
go ahead,
a certain
Cassandra.
relationship that you don't want, if the
mhm,
guy knows that you are someone who wants marriage, however, you are giving him all these things without marriage, he's going to take it. It is free.
exactly.
He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to pay for that. You is
Mm-hmm.
going to deny free things.
Okay, so
Exactly that. Yeah.
let's say you're in a relationship, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
And you know, you guys establish,
What's happening
a
here?
relationship, and you already fall in love with this person and you want it to work, this person want it to work. How about before you go into the common law, going into the common law relationship, you say, okay, you know what? Um, I have this plan. This is my plan. If this doesn't work out this way, then, well, basically it's like an ultimatum. But if you have a goal and this is what you want in the next 5 years and you're not going to achieve it, why stay there then?
Exactly. Then those don't, but don't get into a common law
Mm-hmm.
relationship yet. Then stay outside, date
In
or
the
But
first
It
wouldn't
is
place,
that
that
right?
you
be
were in that
waiting?
sorry.
Wouldn't that be waiting because you already expressed to the person that this is your goal, and now the 3 year, 5 year come and you're not get accomplished. You already went
Yeah,
going
you're
into the
already waiting.
relationship waiting
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
having faith, but now it's time and you're not getting it.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
remove
that's
yourself.
that's one point of the weight. Yeah, that's another part of the weight. So you have two parts of the weight. You have two parts where they are not common laws and they're waiting separately,
Right.
separate places, and you have a next weight where they live together, which majority of the times they are common law.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, but you have two different weight, man.
Yeah.
You have the ones that I am over here, you're over there, you doing your thing. I don't expect you to pay my bills and give me money and those things, and we're waiting to get married so that we can come together and develop a unity. That's one. Or you have the ones that, okay, I have a boyfriend, and you know what we're saying? Why don't we live together? Because most times that is how it starts. Let us live together to share the bills, to share the
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities, then come together.
Right.
From
Right.
it reach
Finances.
there, so no. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That is how some most of the common law start, or say for example, a child come into play.
Oh,
So it's two different weight, but it's the same
What
weight.
I think, let me just share something here. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're right. So I don't know you guys hearing me now clearly. What
No,
yes.
I'm looking at now,
we
We
like
have
hear you.
always
marriage.
been hearing you. I think the
Marriage over
delay
the
is on
period of
your side.
time, probably, yeah. Marriage, marriage, I think people have the wrong idea, the wrong
Concept, yeah.
concept of marriage over
Yeah.
the period, over the time. Like
Yeah.
marriage, they change the marriage to their own definition. People going enter in marriage for the wrong reason, with the wrong intention,
Mm-hmm.
and then believing that this is going to work whenever they're ready. They go in marriage in the wrong timing. They try to do the shack up thing, relationship thing, and with the expectation of getting to the marriage part, right? Because sometimes when you
Yeah.
enter in a common law relationship, you won't even be thinking about marriage at that particular time. And then now,
No.
when you're in there for the long haul with the person, now you bring in the marriage, and then
Yeah.
that person, maybe you outgrow each other, and maybe they're looking at you are not the right person for me, but they're still staying there, just as Brianna said. If you're getting free sex, free clothes wash, free this, free that, and everything, why not just stick around there? And then there comes cheating, where somebody else is on the side because maybe they don't see you as that ideal person, or they feel as if, well, the man or the woman
But
might feel as if, you know what, he's there or she's there, so I can still go out and fool around because there's no commitment on paper, there's nothing legal. So you're when they're done, they can say, oh, well, you're not my husband, you're not my wife, when the argument come too. So that's um a perspective that just came to mind, to say maybe people are in it, are entering relationship for the wrong
yeah, because
reasons.
they wanted the lack of commitment. They don't want to be
So
committed at the end of the day.
now let's talk about why are men afraid of getting married? What would be some of the reasons why men are afraid to commit,
Well, I have to speak for
even when they
my,
are in
I always
a
have to speak for
relationship,
my
even when they're
generation.
in there?
And I can say that it's not
Okay,
just
go
men
ahead,
that
Brianna.
are
Let's hear from
afraid
you.
of marriage. A lot of women nowadays don't want to get married either.
True.
Hmm.
I think even to
Right.
many, many more women
Yeah.
than men nowadays don't want to get married, because women now realize that marriage for them, it's like
Okay.
they get the short end of the stick. So they don't even want to deal with that.
Yeah,
So I think a lot more men want to get married than women.
I think so too.
So
Explain
that
a little bit, Brianna, when you said the short end of the stick, explain a little bit more about what that is, like what you mean by that.
because okay, so
Yeah, what is it? Let me.
when we look at marriage, obviously you look at your parents who have gotten married, or like older people around you that have
Mm-hmm.
gotten married, right? So that's
Mhm.
basically how you can get your experience in marriage without being married. So I guess when we look around, it's
Right.
like being married and like having a family and having kids. It's like you take up an extra child, which would be your husband, which doesn't make any sense for you as a grown person to be taking care of another grown man, in and as well as your young children, and be
Mm-hmm.
having to do like kill yourself with work, having to sustain a quote unquote happy lifestyle just because you feel that the end goal in your life has to
Family.
be marriage.
But you know how I see that?
Mm.
It's more of a lesson to me
Mm-hmm.
than saying, "Oh, I won't get married." It just shows me what to look for and what not to look for,
Mm-hmm.
and who to pick up and who not to pick up.
But that's exactly why I say that, because we have
Mm.
seen that lesson now, less of us want to get married, because all we would see in majority, because majority of men would still think in that way, to say that when they
Is a
get married,
divorce.
they get taken care of because they have the long end of the stick. It's a marriage is a it's a plus for them, like they benefit out of marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Men, women don't really get much benefit out of marriage, and now we are noticing that.
True.
So because the men were getting the benefit before, they don't want to change. Not all of them. Not all of
No,
them.
we're doing
Brianna, I
there's
sound like a married
some,
man.
Me.
some. All right. So for example, I can. All right. So for example, Misa, you have a bachelor, right? So he used to live by himself. So he had to clean if he wants to clean. He has to cook for himself. He has to wash his clothes. He has to do all of those things to get by. Now, when he is married, automatically, you have some money, oh, I have a wife. So I don't need to do none of those things anymore. Why do you think I get married? Why should I be clean? You have some man, their mentality is like that.
It changed, yeah. It
Because
flips the
just
switch, as
like
they're
how
saying.
we are
Marriage is
seen
supposed to be that.
or part, what you say, Brenna?
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you to say that because
Hold on, let me
men get
continue here what Tashana saying.
because men get the benefit out of the relationship, it's like the flip switch to finally say, oh, finally I'm married. I can stop doing the things that I don't want to do now since I
Exactly,
have a
because
wife.
we have a female, we have a woman. Because, all right, with marriage, I think, this is just my opinion, it comes based off the society that was before, where a woman was not going out working. She was home. She was home, so she take care of the home. The man buy the house and she make a home. The man put a little seed in her egg and baby come and she take care of the children. But in this society, it is not like that. Yes, you have women working. Working, some have to work harder than women in society. You have to work double, triple times harder than a man because it's a man's world. So now we have that on top of our head. Then now we have to come home now and do our motherly duties, wifely duties, and then we have to take care of ourselves because you have to look good and make sure you don't smell like fish, fried fish, and all these things. So it is one big
It's a
world
stress.
on our head. So then why bother with this big world on our
Pressure on
head
the
when
woman.
so why should I bother have that pressure on me? And when I am single, I can have my home. I have my home. I keep my home how I want it. I don't have to be yelling and screaming to say why you put your shoes there. Why?
And
No,
let's
some
not
most
talk
women.
about, we don't even start talking about the pressure of the men wanting the women to have kids as well. Because they're going out to work, and then once you get pregnant, you have to give up your income. So you have to sit at home. You have to
Yeah,
give up such a big part of your life, while the man doesn't have to give up anything while you're pregnant.
exactly.
Your
So and
income. Yeah, that's very
not
interesting.
all
Yeah.
women want that
Want to
because
have kids.
you have some women that are already so instilled in their career. Like you see, like that is why, as Misa say, you're best to communicate certain things because I believe that once we decide, because we're going by the biblical perspective now, I believe once we decide to marry, automatically a one and two children will come. That is what my belief. But nowadays, you have some women, they want to be married, but they don't want to have kids. While you have the man mentality is like, then why are we marrying if you don't want to have kids? Because that is the ultimate goal is to have kids. So there's too much chaos right there. So it's good to, as Nisa said,
Yeah, a
communicate
lot of chaos
all
going
of
on
this.
in.
Yeah, communicate all of this to say that I don't want to have kids or I want to have kids. I have some female that wanted to have kids, but then they're at a peak point in their career where it is not time for me yet to have kids. I just finished my law bar and I just turned an attorney and this is the peak time of my career. That child right now will gonna be burdening me down. Yes, I would want to have kids, but not right now. what point we're gonna compromise something.
Mhm.
So it is
Exactly,
a lot.
because even you said that to Tash. Let's say for instance, the woman, she's at the peak of her life. If
Mm-hmm.
she did get pregnant, if it was the man that was at the peak of his job and started to have kids at that time, it's good for the man, because the
It
man
don't
doesn't
affect
have to
him.
take care of the child. It's the
Yes.
woman. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like the men are not willing to give up
Mhm. Mhm.
as much, even half as much as a woman is
True.
expected to give up, because she could get pregnant, have the child, and have the husband look after the child, but he wouldn't want to do that.
Yes, some men would want to do that
Some
because
men
they're gonna
wouldn't
feel
want to do
like
that.
they have their job to do. No, that's true.
Hmm.
Okay, what about this though? Some man say that marriage is a trap. Marriage is a trap. What about that? When they're saying when they married, right? It's a trap. And I guess some are saying also that when you marry, that is the legal, I'm talking about the legal paperwork, marriage now, where you sign this agreement. They're saying that it's inviting the state in their affairs. It's inviting the state to um to come into their personal house or whatnot. Just as Brianna
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about, she mentioned something about when you're in a marriage, the woman get the short end of the stick. So now you have the men saying that they're getting the short end of the stick because if there is a divorce, most of the time the woman end up with under the side of the law in terms of she getting the house, she getting the kids, she getting the this, she getting the that. So basically, they are seeing it as a trap, and that
But
is
even
why
okay,
some
but
men
even then, it's not
don't
even within
want
the marriage
to
that they're
get
getting the short
married.
end of the stick.
Tell
Is
me
through
your
the
take on that,
divorce.
guys.
I was saying even through that,
Say
it's
that
not
again,
even
Brianna.
with. I'm saying with that, even through the marriage, it wasn't them getting the short end of the stick. It's only when it came time to divorce.
Yeah, so it's not the marriage give
So
them
it's
the
not
short
the
end.
marriage that gave them the short end of the stick.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And
And if
also,
he,
too,
sorry,
I would say with that question being asked to say if it's a trap, I would say with that
if you
question
feel
too,
marriage is a trap,
like
then you
when
didn't want to get married.
men are thinking in that way, why would you be entering a relationship? Why would you be entering a relationship when you're thinking about the negative side of it before? Why you thinking about the divorce already? You're not thinking of how to strengthen your marriage. You're not thinking of how you're gonna commit to this relationship and your family. Already you're thinking about, oh, what if I divorce? Oh, the law is gonna take this away from me. Why not think about how do you make your marriage work? How do you make
And
your
then another thing
relationship work?
is
Why don't
that
you spend your time thinking about to hold on a second? Let me just finish.
yeah, yeah.
Why don't you spend your time um thinking about how to work on your marriage, because marriage is not it's two different people entering with two different family background, two different persons to deal with. So why don't you just think about, I'm talking to man now, why won't you think about how is it that you're gonna work on your marriage? You should be thinking about that even before you enter the relationship. You should know that from the beginning to know,
I think people
you
like
know what, I'm
that
taking on this
only get
responsibility,
married
I'm taking
as
on this commitment. Do I want this thing?
okay, yes. I think people like that, they only get married because it's what they think is the end goal in society. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to get married. If you are a person who thinks that
Exactly.
marriage is a trap or whatever it is, I think it's very selfish of you
Mm-hmm.
to get married if that is your
Yes.
mindset, and then even worse, to have children in that
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
marriage,
yes, yes, I agree.
because
Exactly.
you're
Or
selfishly
even
doing
going to
these
any
things
relationship
to
at
what
all,
prove,
because if you're
to
right.
prove yourself to who? because at the end of the day, you're giving your
Mm-hmm.
partner a
Yeah,
lot of
exactly. That's a
mental
big question. Who
a lot of
yourself?
mental issues because you yourself did not want to get married. You're only getting married because that's what they say you're supposed to do. And then if you go and have children on top of that, now your children are seeing this broken marriage and thinking that maybe the reason the marriage is broken is because of them, the children, or that this is the way you're supposed to treat people when you love them. They're not going to know that it isn't right, and then you're just going to breed a lot more
Mm-hmm.
broken people into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulty on this topic here today, man.
Yeah.
And we're having so much good discussion coming out of it.
So I think that marriage
I don't know if you guys
I
hearing each other, but I'm not hearing so clear.
oh, well, I'll just continue to talk then. It will catch up to your
Yeah,
side
I
eventually.
think the issue is with
Yeah, go ahead.
the host.
Yeah.
The host is her thing is delayed, so everybody else can
Yeah,
hear
my
at
Yeah,
the
side,
host
yeah.
time, but then it's delayed on her end.
yeah. So
Each
it
other.
catches up a little later. But I
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
think too, marriage, it's um I don't know how to say this in any other way, but I think it's overhyped. As in, not everybody, like having children, also overhyped. Not everybody want children. Not everybody should have children. Meaning, not everybody needs to get married. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a person who decides that you like to sleep around with other people, don't be a person who is going to get married. You're not going to get that joy if you're married.
Mm,
There are other
absolutely.
people. You have men and
No,
women
true.
around who like a ambiguous life. Go join up with those people and
I think
Mm-hmm.
mm,
you mentioned I don't believe it is overhyped. I just think that it has less importance in people's heads, so they just do it. They just take marriage any and anyway.
yeah, that's kind
So
of what
that so
I didn't know which specific word to use, but
yes,
it's just that
so there's
the
no
context of it is
yeah. So
used as like
marriage
a job nowadays to say, okay, now I have finished university. Next step, marriage.
yeah,
Kind
like
of like something to fill out.
I don't see marriage as
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like in society, we make marriage to be like nothing
Mm-hmm.
because you have people doing business marriages for papers. So marriages come in like a piece of bread. You just go to the
Mm-hmm.
store and you buy it, and then if you don't like how that bread tastes,
That
you can
was
bring it
my
back.
next question. Yeah.
What is?
That was my next question to say what was the intent of the marriage in the first place? When people talk about marriage, what's their intent in the first place? Is it that because of certain circumstances why you actually enter into the marriage? Because you
So
want to
some
save money together, because you want to be able
so basically
to
some
make
people
life
going into
easier on
marriage,
yourself. So
they're
it's not
creating
really
marriage.
a relationship. Yeah.
So basically people go into marriage and false pretense then.
Oh,
That's
all
why
the
a
time.
lot of time
Go
marriages
ahead.
Yeah,
don't work.
yeah, you're right, Misa.
Because remember too, Bible in the Bible, it was a union between two people to become one. But when it comes to like a
Mhm.
few decades or a few centuries back, marriage was so that a woman could survive because
Mm-hmm,
she didn't have work, she couldn't work, so she
mm-hmm,
needed a source of
Mhm.
income,
mm-hmm,
which would be the
mm-hmm.
man. So no one was really marrying out of love per se.
True, True.
They were marrying so that they could live to see her next day, basically.
No, but that is true.
So that from there, the marriage thing already dwindled down.
If
The
I
essence of marriage already
can, let
dwindled.
me say something here, guys. Let me just say something here. I don't know. I'm just struggling to get myself into talk.
Yes.
But Brianna just made a point that she said for the marriage, it's for two people to become one. And you're not seeing the oneness in a relationship. You're seeing more two people as two in the relationship. It's not showing that two
Mm-hmm.
people as one. So guys, shed some more light on that too, because when you're married, now people are scared of their money. I don't want to put my money in his bank account, and my money not in. And then when you look, everybody living two separate life, but they are in a marriage.
Yeah, because as I was saying before, um, in the most modern aspect, well, not the closest modern aspect of marriage was when women would marry men, or men would marry women, so that the woman could have a source of income. So basically, the woman could have something to her name. So because of this, the imbalance within the marriage was like really bad. So basically, the man would have so much above the woman that there couldn't be any oneness.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it would have been the flip. Because
Yes.
the man have so many above the woman automatically just have to be oneness. Because she just have to flow. She have to just get through it. She just have to work according to his whatever he says.
Yeah,
Because
but
she
a lot of the times they didn't want the is I said this in the way that the man, it's not that he wanted what was best for the family. He just wants what's best for him.
no, but okay. You're saying, remember, no, the
Mm-hmm.
woman is in the marriage for income, for
Mm-hmm.
her source of income.
Mm-hmm.
So she already that is the man. The man is the income. So in order
Mm-hmm.
for the income to keep coming, she just have to play her part, play her role.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where it looked like they had oneness. That is why you see like our great grandparents them
But remember, the
no
woman them
divorce.
wasn't really getting the money, they was just
No,
getting.
it doesn't matter if they're getting the money. It's not a physical money. They have a roof over their head. They have food. They can get food on the table. That is where the income coming, not a physical money. Back in their days, all they're saying is, I have a place
Mm.
because they leave their house and they come to this house with this man as their husband. So
So
they just
basically, it could be not a happy marriage, but the marriage
no,
had
it's not a
oneness.
happy, no emotions that in them marriage there.
Okay, so like a
Emotion
business transaction.
exactly. Emotion didn't even come through the door.
Mm-hmm.
That was left outside because this is more of a where to go. That is why most time back in those days when a female was at a certain age, although Misa said there's no arranged marriage in our society, that is not true. Because when a woman used to reach at a certain age, the parents them already looking for certain spouse or certain potential man in the village or whoever
Yeah,
for them already. So not because we don't have it like a
for
more
them to get married. Yeah, to get them.
ceremonial thing like other cultures, but it was there. And sometimes the woman don't even
Yeah,
know
they
the
had
man
it.
like
Yeah.
that. They don't even know the man like that. But the parents is saying, okay, you're
Hmm.
getting up in age. We cannot afford to feed you anymore. So now they start looking. So no emotions, no
But
in them some there.
guys, yeah, and you know that back in those days, those marriage lasted forever too, because I have an aunt which, as I remember it, my mom said it was an arranged marriage, but she got married
Mm-hmm.
where the man's father was looking for a wife for his son, and he just came from abroad, came from foreign and stuff like that, and he just heard about this lady in the community have a lovely daughter, and he just brought the son and said, such and such, like you say, John, you love the young lady? And he look at her just physically and said yes. And then they brought out the young lady and said, young lady, you love this young man? And the young lady just look and say, yeah. And that was that. And they just did the marriage, married them off. They didn't have any kids at the time. And up until this day, they were married until he passed away. And that marriage lasted for like ever, because back then I think they know that once you are married to somebody, that's a commitment for life. But now,
Mm-hmm.
even though there's not much arranged marriage now, the marriage has taken on a different twist to it, and people going in it for different, like their intention is not to stay in there for the long haul. I think that is the thing. The intention in marriage is that, well, if she ever open her mouth and say something, or if he ever not bring that money, come give me, I just divorce him. Because right away people start thinking about, as soon as they married and they take the vow, it's like they're looking for something to get divorced on.
So
Unfortunately,
basically, you're
that's
saying, I decide to marry this man. Then I realize he is nothing like I expected him to be. Are
Mm-hmm.
you saying because I am married and I am supposed
Mhm.
to respect my marriage and I'm supposed to stay in my marriage? Are you saying I should stay with this person then?
Okay, all right. You see, the thing is,
Yes.
you see,
Yes. Hold on
you
a
see,
second.
because,
Wait. She asked a question. So, yes, for the marriage, sorry, Tashana, sorry to cut you, but she asked a question. As long as, I would say, as long as it's not a physical abuse that is physically abusing you, when you get in a marriage, and if it's not working, I don't think the first thing is to go divorce. That's my opinion. That's my
mm-hmm,
biblical perspective on a marriage. The first thing is not to go find a divorce. The first thing is for you to work
mm-hmm.
on you and this person. It's not to run divorce. If he's beating you or you are beating him, that's where I think then that is a serious criminal act. But if because he don't turn out the way you think and all of this thing, still you talk, you should stick with it. I think.
No, but it's true because, all right, marriage, marriage fail because divorce is easy to get. If you had to do some drastic thing before you be divorced, a lot of people would have stayed in their marriage. It is easy to, you
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
something?
Sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
because it's so easy nowadays, you can just go down to the corner shop and you can get a divorce paper just like that. That is why marriage not working.
But if you have all your finances tied up together and all these things, it's kind of hard to
Mhm.
get a divorce.
I think actually, if you were to do some drastic thing before you get married,
But you
a
shouldn't
lot
be even
less
looking
people would
for a
want
divorce
to
if you
get
have your
divorced.
finances. You shouldn't be looking for no divorce when you're in a marriage. That should not be on the table at all. The word divorce should not never be on the table
I
when you're talking about a marriage, especially when you know you're genuinely enter the marriage for love. I'm not talking people marrying for different reasons, like you're marrying for paperwork and these things. You would know that that marriage was for that. So then you would know that, you know what, about that marriage in a wrong way. So that is not even a marriage. I would say if you know you go in the marriage for people doing immigration purpose, this all the different wrong reason. When you check out what was the intent of this marriage and you see that was the intent, know that that is not a marriage. I would say that
yeah,
is not a
yeah.
marriage. You did that on paper
But I
because
agree with
anybody,
Brenna.
any
You just made up.
JP can just marry anybody and that's it. But if you know you you both enter the marriage in a genuine way, where at the beginning you guys were showing love and respect to each other and the marriage started to break down, I think you should reflect on that, and it should be grounds for you to work and stay in your marriage. It's just like having a child. You have a child, the child get rude, the child get out of place and start doing something. You don't say, oh, I don't want this child anymore, and I just gonna disband this child. It's still your child. You go to the miles until the death. That's how I see you should be loyal to your marriage. Once you know it is a genuine place that you were, you should go to the end of that. You should be loyal to the death, to that person, to that man, to that woman. That's how I see
And not
people
to
when
the
you say
death
you're married.
where
If you know you're not going down that road, do not go down there. Sorry, Tashana, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and not to the death where maybe somebody think, all right, to the death. Let me just get rid of that.
No.
No, but
No, not
Brianna,
that until death
I
do us
don't
part.
remember is what
That
I say at this point, Tashana.
no, Brianna made a good point too. She said, and that is why it is good if you before the marriage you did a in like an extensive talking, counseling, whatever, and then now get married. So if say for example the man or the woman having some form of um down season, then you already would have gone through all that premarital process. So you don't know that that marriage is 100%. So divorce would be even in your thoughts, because you'll be like, okay, I know my husband is just going through a season right now, or you know what, I know my wife right now is going through
yeah.
something. So like those marriage, those are genuine marriage. So you're not gonna first think, oh, it's not because you're gonna say, oh,
Yes.
because we have a house or because we have land, that's why I don't really want to divorce. You're gonna say no, because I know the capability of my husband, I know the capability of my wife, and I know it's just a time. That is why I'm not getting married. A lot of people see marriage, as soon as they marriage, the first thing is the material things. Because like, boy, I'm so unhappy, but because we have things, the first thing that come is things, material things. It's not
It's
about the
things.
person, it's not
Exactly.
about the
True.
individual anymore. It's just because they have material things why they don't want, why they're not getting divorced. So is it that you went into the
That's
marriage
true.
for things in the beginning?
For
That is
things.
where the problem would lie now.
Absolutely, you're very right, Tashana. That is
Mm-hmm.
very right. Yeah. Tashana is very right, because the message is the question that Chamisha asks: what if you're in the marriage and you realize that the man is not the type, the person, and that no, you should stick to that man, stick to him, because you looking around. Why would you know that this is not the type of man? Because it would seem like you're looking around for somebody else. Because
Mm-hmm.
why would you be starting? Because right now you start to criticize your man. You're not
So
satisfied with the little that he's doing. So why your eyes would be out there looking at something else to compare him with somebody else? Why would you be comparing him instead of build him up? You have to build him up to help him to get there, or you find ways. Be a smart woman, to say, honey, what should we do? Do this, try this, see how to communicate to him, because not every man you can step to and tell them things in a kind of way. Like you can't tell him things in a way, but you have to find way how you're going to communicate with him to build him up, to encourage him, to get him to be better, or to do better, whatever the problem you see as a woman. No, you have some fool out there who won't take telling, they won't take, they won't take advice. You have foolish men like that. But
mm-hmm.
eventually, let him be the one to crumble his house, if anything. But you, the woman, shouldn't be the one, I would say, to crumble it. Let him be the one to do a foolish thing. You understand? But I think as a woman, you know, if
So question
if
now.
that's why I always say, if it's not a man that is abusing you. hmm
When you finish, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Tashana, with your question.
No, I'm saying because we're doing this question like a one side thing, like I say, okay, is if the man has the issue or whatever. But what if the man see us have we have the issue, the female have the issue, and they decide that, okay, you know what, I can't deal with whatever. It's no, it's none of it's not anything to do with abuse or whatever. But just like how Misa always say, if the man is not what she thought he was. No, what if it's the flip now? What should a woman do in that stance?
In that case, I don't think no woman, I think most of the time is a man that take himself a wife. Most of the time is a man that take himself the wife. So at the end of the day, if he do some stupid thing, or he abandon his marriage, or he abandon his family, that is gonna be on his head with God, because remember, the man is the head of the household. God is the head of him. So if he go around and he's just doing all these nonsense, you as the woman can really
No, but
run him down and say, "Oh, stay and hold him back." You you
no,
can
but
hold
say
him
for
back, but
example,
I'm
he's
just
not.
saying, like, for men out there who feel like, I'm not hearing you, Tash.
No, but say for example, he's not doing any nonsense.
Could you
He's not
repeat? Yeah.
cheating. He's not cheating. He's not doing any nonsense. Because I'm sure if a female feels that about a man, it's not that she's cheating. She's not cheating or whatever. So why is it that if a man feels a certain way to say, oh, you know what, I take this woman to be my wife, and I thought she was this type of person, but afterwards I realized she's not whatever person I wanted her to be, because some man think there's a perfect wife out there for them. They don't know that they have to build a woman to the type of wife they want. But
That's
say,
what I
for
was about
example,
to say.
they
Yeah. It
prematurely.
is, yeah. So my advice to a man out there, that this woman is not up to this standard or whatever. There is no ideal woman out there. And a lot of men, that's where they make a mistake. They feel like they want to have like a young girl, they want to have, I don't know, whatever is in their head, like a dream girl, like a dream person in their head, their imagination. And they feel that is the case. They need to, that is lack of maturity on their side. That is that is showing immaturity. They are not wise in terms of what they're thinking. They're not wise in their
Mhm.
thinking, but they will find out later on. They will find out later on. But it is him, the man, to create that woman, not create, but I mean, like, to develop that woman into the woman that he wants her to be. He must know that when he take a woman, and if he's the one, as the man, the woman is looking up to him as the leader. A woman is looking for that leader to lead her in the right direction. And that is why a man must always make sure that he's on top of his game, especially when he enter. If the woman read one book, he should read two. He should always be in the know and keep on top of things with his marriage and with his relationship, and know what he wants, and bring that to the woman, so that the woman will know how to respond, and what is expected of her. But sometimes most of the relationship, it is a woman that is actually bringing expectation to the man. Oh, you need to step up your game, or you need to this. But the man need to step up his game and bring this woman up in the woman that he wants for himself. Because it's just like you have your child and you're trying to grow your child. It's the same way a woman would want a man to be, to teach her to be the wife that he wants her to be. Not being,
So, okay.
I'm not saying the man must dumb her down and make her be looking stupid, but bringing her up, developing her, and also himself at the same time.
So wouldn't you, okay, all
I
right.
don't know if I answer, Tashana.
So so wouldn't this be somewhat some females issues, like the cause, like the causes of this can be lean to females? Because say for example, you have a lot of females right now that is developing and leveling up in society. So because now you have men, you have some men that not leveling up, they just like where they are, so they're not developing, they're not constantly developing, right? So you have a man
Mm-hmm.
that is not your level of intellect or education or whatever type thing, and then you marry this man knowing that
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to be able to edify you, he's not going to be able to teach you anything, because him himself is didn't try to develop himself up like above you.
Mm-hmm.
Because nowadays woman, we have sense, so a man have to really have
Mm-hmm.
sense times 10
Work
in
hard
order,
to keep up with the
yeah, they
woman.
have to
Yeah.
work harder so that they can cultivate us, because we are already cultivated. So now,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't, isn't that like a bit of a pressure now for a man
We
now? How you
cultivate ourselves.
cultivate, eh? Oh, how you cultivate
This thing is
something that
breaking
is
up, man.
cultivated. I'm not sure if you understand. I don't even sure if
Well,
you.
no,
Yeah.
I understand where I
No, no, I
understand what you're
understand you,
saying.
Tashana.
If it's already cultivated, then I guess that's even easier too for you. All you have to do is find the right pick.
Yeah, it's to find the right pick. But say, for example, the pickings that picking you is
Then you have to look inwards on
My
yourself
question
to
is,
wonder why the
I have
pickings
a,
that you want are not picking you.
I have a
mm,
serious question.
yeah,
Um, with the rate of how we are developing, right?
yeah,
Against the rate of how men are developing.
yeah,
You know where I'm getting at.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Are
is
you guys
something
hearing me?
that is what
Sorry.
I was.
You guys hearing me?
We're always hearing
Okay.
you.
So
Yeah,
basically, a
Minister.
lot of
Mhm.
us
Thing.
won't get that man,
No,
No.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
No, but look here now, guys. Hold on a second. You guys hear me? So, um, even though we are women and we do go quicker than the men, like in terms of from what we are seeing, we know that the women will go to school, we will do all the stuff and so on, you know. However, I think the men they are not stupid. They know that the women, as you mentioned, we are quicker than them. And I think the men would need to understand and know that we are here to help them, you know. So if a man is smart, right? If a man is smart, they know that their woman is smart, and you know she knows stuff, because if you even look back in the Bible days, you know, these men used to listen to their woman to help them fight even wars and stuff like that. You know, those men that are smart, they know that they don't want a foolish woman. They want a smart woman, because they need the woman to help them to figure things out in life. And if a smart man would know, even if his education level is not up there or whatever it is, he's not leveling up to where the woman is, but he would know to utilize, make use of that woman's ability, right? But if he's lacking in certain ability, the woman has it. So a smart man would know that, yeah, if my woman is a lawyer, or she has that technical skills in certain area, that is good for me as a man, because now I have that person in my corner and utilize that skill level that that woman have. But some men, what they do, they feel jealous of the woman. They look at it as a challenge to them, and because of that, now they use the jealousy and all these things set in, and then it goes against them. But if a smart man is smart, he would know that if my woman have this potential, will this enhance me even better? And
Yeah.
put that and recognize it and respect it, and know that he give that woman that respect, and know that he cherish that skill that she have, you know and know how to use it when he needs it to build up himself. So if it's just like a workplace, you have different employees in the workplace. You have an accountant, you have a lawyer, you have this one, you have that one. But the company know that they need all the different skill set to come together to build their empire. So a smart man would know that I have this woman who is brilliant and so. But even though he might not be up to her educational level, he's smart in making the relationship work, and not making the woman feel less of a person, even though she has all the different accolades to her name. But some man, what they do, they're saying, you're so dumb having your PhD and you'd been with me like an idiot. You being with me, I don't even have this education. So they're looking at it to dumb you down or to put you down. That's a foolish man. That would be a foolish man. But a sensible man would know that having this woman who is smart in my corner, it can build me. It can build me as a man without me having to maybe I don't have to go do what she does, but I can do something totally different to enhance her and myself. So in that case, I would say men who think in that way, like maybe they're looking at it to say, oh, she have all this stuff and this and that, and looking to say, that would be a person who have a low self-esteem or something. In that's just my opinion. Why wouldn't you look at, because in today's society, women has to go out to work, we have to go out and do so many things. So in that case, the man should see the woman as a valuable asset in his household, in his family. When that and he should be proud to have a wife who is like that. But at the same time, a woman should not brag over a man because she has all this and putting him down too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She should encourage him. Yeah, she should encourage him, find way to encourage him and build him up too. But then you have, I know, unfortunately, you have some men out there who are very ignorant, and they don't know what to do when they see their woman being successful. They don't know how to embrace it because they see it now as a challenge, as to see that, oh my God, she don't want me anymore, she's stepping above me now, what can I do? She's gonna have all
Yeah, he's
the
thinking.
all the focus on her, and then he start to feel jealous of her or something. But I think
Or maybe she's
smart
going to
men
find someone
would,
above him.
yeah,
Exactly, Misa. Or she
maybe he
finds
feel
somebody above
threatened,
him.
yeah.
Mm. But
Mm-hmm.
then this
But
come
I think
right
they
back
need
to
to
what,
discuss it. Sorry, go ahead, Tashi.
no, I'm saying, and this come right back down to what Brenna was saying, that sometimes female feel as if they get the short end of the stick when it come on to marriage, because okay, if I'm gonna say, all right, out of the two of us, I'll be the one that now have to go build him up. I am not getting no form of build up, no form of cultivation. So I have to go do that work plus normal work plus housework plus wifely duties. So that is so much for a female, especially in today's society that is always self-driven and career minded. That is why there will be like, what's the point of marriage if I'm not seeing or I'm not finding a man that is on my level or above my level, where I don't have to be building him up and cultivating him, because it should be the other way around. He should be building me up, cultivating me. Why should I take up all that work? So then they just end up just be single, because that is
And
too
that
much
is
pressure
where
to ask.
And that is where, to Tashana, it comes back to the concept of marriage. You see, people have to have the right concept of what a marriage is, the right understanding of what a marriage is when you get in there, because it becomes one flesh, as we say. But nowadays, when people enter in a marriage, it's been like an individualistic kind of relationship, and where they're competing with each other. If you notice, in the marriage, it becomes like a competition. So it's like, say for example, Misa and John, and then our Tashana and Bill. And then when you look, the two persons are competing in the marriage, which is the wrong concept of the marriage. It should be a joint thing, and both persons must have the same concept of the marriage. There shouldn't be no hesitation as to when you come in a marriage, what you should do. Like, oh, I have one account, this one have one account over there, this one doing this one. It shouldn't be that. But because of lack of trust, I would say people still looking out their side eyes for things to happen. That is where I think it make it so challenging, because the concept of the marriage is always like there's a lack of trust embedded in the marriage when you go in there from the get go. It's like people looking out of their corner eye. Oh, what if she do this? What if he does that? It's not like they're going with a positive attitude in the beginning. And then as soon as something happens, as soon as there's a little argument or something, you see some words gonna trigger, you see some words gonna fire off, and then that will trigger, things where you find that person's gonna question, oh, is this a marriage? Is this what I want? Is this that? So I think most of the time in the relationship, I think the concept is where people from the beginning, that is not stated, and people are coming from broken homes, broken family, no dad, no examples, because the father daughter type of relationship is not existent, and the son father relationship is not existent. So you will find men who say, oh, I didn't have my dad to teach me how to be a man. And then the woman will say, I didn't have my dad to show me what a man's supposed to be. So now you come in the relationship, and both persons don't know how to act or how to communicate. It takes a while gradually for you to know. Might take you years to know how to deal with a man in a household, or even for a man to know how to deal with a woman in a household. So the whole messed up of the family can lead to this this kind of, what you call, this brokenness in the home, and people coming in with their broken self to patch up what they think is going to be a perfect marriage. Well, there's no perfect marriage, but they're trying to patch up this,
Yeah.
but if you to patch up a family, because you're coming from one broken home from a next broken home, not knowing what to expect. You just know that I want to feel happy, I want this, fairy tale type of thing. There's no fairy tale thing out there, no fairy tale woman, no fairy tale man out there. It's human being we're dealing with. And it comes back to the point where you would have to have some level of maturity, both parties, and then from the beginning to have those kind of talks. Because if you didn't have that in the initial stage of your marriage, and then you get to that place now, I think you should revisit. Say, for example, you're in a married relationship now, and you have never done that at the beginning of your marriage. I think you should go on a date and revisit your relationship and see where you are, what you would like to accomplish out of the relationship, stuff like that. I think people need to do these kind of things in a kind of what you call very intentional setting where you really sit down, not watching no movie, not doing nothing, just intentionally without anybody going to have any feelings, no hard feelings about it, and basically look at your marriage and say where we are with this marriage. What you think we can improve? What you think we can change? What you think? I think people need to look at these things. Sorry, Tashana is in here with giving me a feedback. So that's why I'm distracted a while ago. So basically, people should, have a sit down and revisit their marriage. Those who are married and those who are not married, I think if you have intention of getting married, before you do so, you should find that person where you're feeling comfortable to have these kind of discussion with. That's just my 2 cents. What you say about that, Misa?
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Let me put in my 2 cents.
Yes, Tasha.
I feel a lot of times we go into marriages with just love. Oh, I just love this person,
Whatever that
so
is.
let's get married. You have to go in there with more than love. You have to go in there with knowledge of the person.
Absolutely.
So you have to know the person and then you have to
Absolutely.
understand the person, right? You have to also, just like how
Mm-hmm.
you have to know to communicate, but it's not just only communication, it's comprehension. Because you could be a great communicator, but did the person
Mm-hmm.
comprehend what you said? So those are the factors that need to be laid out before any marriage talking can start. Once I think,
That is so true.
once those things can be put into play, so you get to know the
Mm-hmm.
person get to know you, then you know what level or what is in their brain, what is their mindset, and then you understand. Then you know, is this person, am I willing to live the rest of my life with this type of person, or with this thinking person, or the mindset, or is this person a person that is able to develop with me? Can I help to improve that person? Can the person help to improve
Mm-hmm.
me? Once you can do those things in a
Absolutely.
good communication comprehension setting, then even after the marriage, so when you guys married and there's little hiccups, it won't be so drastic where you
No.
have to start to think about, did I make a mistake? Did I marry the wrong person? Should I divorce? Do we have assets? Do we have liabilities? Because all of those things would have been in the foreplay, in the foreplay from day one. So I think that is how a marriage should work, especially in this society where everybody know
Yes.
of everything. Woman a come with her house, car,
Exactly.
land, and knowledge. Man a come with him house, car, land, and knowledge. So how are we
Mm-hmm.
now as two alpha male, although I'm a female, how can we do this together to be unity, to be one? That is where all of that come from. Once we can do
Mm-hmm.
that, then I think it would be more smooth sailing to
I
me.
agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Otherwise, if
have
you see,
to,
you can always choose not to. Sorry,
yeah,
you can always choose there's always a choice not to get married. There's always that choice. If you feel like, you know what, I am not the type of person to go figure out people and to take care of another adult and to tell another adult what to do and to do this and to do that, you can always make the choice of staying
Yeah,
away from the
of
family
staying
way.
away from
And that
marriage
is
because
why some men need, yeah, some men, when they put in woman in the family way, that is the wrong move that they are making. They should know from the get-go they are not a family person. They are not
yeah,
into this settling down thing. They want to run around. Why are you giving up your single life to go start a family? If you embrace a single life as a man, I get with the guys, I get to the thing. I don't want to settle down and give nobody my money or take care of no picnic or no kids or no woman. Why am I giving my, you should be that man to say, you know what, I prefer my single life and stick to your single life and don't get no woman in the family way. Keep your zipper up, don't have no sex either, because having sex is going to lead you in the family way. So I think men are out there who feel like, oh, I don't want to get married, I don't really know. Don't take on no woman. Leave that part alone. Focus on yourself, enjoy your life, right? And if you feel like you can do all this sex or whatever, make sure that it's not producing any any human being. Don't produce another human being into the world. I would say go get yourself, what they call it, do a vasectomy and
you,
do that procedure where you cannot have kids. Go
you know,
do
have to
those
do no
things
vasectomy.
because that is the life. I'm just saying, no, I'm just saying that in the case where he's not planning on having any kids. Like if a man decides that I don't want to be a family man, I don't want to get married, he's making a decision for himself, right? So why are you going to go have sex releasing sperms on another woman's egg and a woman egg? Don't do that. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
if
you just have to say
if you know you're not
if you're
going
not
to.
in a marriage thing, then just stay by yourself.
No, no, but I'm just saying, like those who, because remember, at the end of the day, it's their decision, So, say for example, they feel like they are the type of person who want to run around, like having sex with different partners, because you still have that person who is out there who feel like they want to go around to different, you know, different
Yeah, but
people.
that's not a that wouldn't
Then
be
let them.
marriage.
No, no, no. I'm just saying that if that is the case, right? I'm just saying, in order not to bring a child in the world to, because if you bring a child in the world, you're still going to have to be responsible for the child. I'm just saying, like, say for example, you're gonna have a child, and then no, I'm just saying, if the person know they don't want to take on the responsibility of having children, if they don't want to take on the responsibility, because remember, you still have single relationship out there, where they're doing their thing, they're responsible. But I'm just saying, if they feel like they don't want to take care of no kids, they don't want to have nothing to do with kids, they don't want to have kids, they don't want to have children, then if you don't want to have children, prepare yourself in the way of not having none. That's what I'm saying. Because you still have people out there who said they are having sex, but they don't want to have children. That's their decision not to have none. So if that is the case, do what you need to do to prevent yourself from having any. Right? Just like a person who, you have people out there, they're single, but they're not saying they don't want to have children. They're having children. And of course, you still have people out there who taking care of the kids and doing both men and women, right? And then now it comes down now to the ones with the marriage now. If you know that you don't want to get married, you're not ready to get married, then don't have a common law, or unless both of you decide that you want to have this common law. It must be the both of your decision to do this thing. It should be both parties that decide on having and having these things, you know. So that being said, I think that this was a good discussion today. And although we had some glitches with the internet, we have to continue. I think we're going to continue with this discussion. And
Yeah.
our next topic I want to look at, we want to follow up with this. Sorry, we want to follow up with this discussion on another level, because I think it's not finished right here, and there are some more burning questions that are coming up. So we want to continue this discussion next week, and
Okay.
we want to, get some vibrant feedback. So, guys, that being said, you guys have a brilliant day, and we
You
thank you
as
all for
well.
participating in
Yes.
today's show. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week on
Okay. See.
Real Talk. Have a great day, guys.
You
Thank
too.
you, you too.
Yeah, bye. All right. Me never know so it's so long. Oh man, this again. Just come here, come here, come here. Me end it broadcast, but this finish. It's still
Yeah,
a,
because through my phone still.
it's still a go.
Yeah.